squad, what's going on? It's your boy Shimigami X, aka Captain X, here today to give you my review of Bleach chapter 571, entitled A Devlish Perspective. Alright, so let's dive straight into this. This week's chapter is simply all about Yachiru, who is the vice captain of Squad 11, lieutenant of Zaraki Kenpachi, who is not present in this chapter with none whatsoever, but we're going to dive into that later on. What I thought was particularly interesting about this chapter is the simple fact that we get a further understanding of what Star Knight V's powers are now, and we also get an understanding of what Yachiru's Zanpakuto abilities are, which is something that's been anticipated for the longest time in the series because we've never seen her battle up until this point. Alright. We've always known that Yachiru was somewhat strong, simply for the fact that she's able to sit on the shoulders of Zaraki Kenpachi and be completely unaffected by spiritual pressure when she is in very close proximity. When it was displayed at the beginning of the series that anybody, like even some captains, like are affected by some of Zaraki Kenpachi's spiritual pressure, but yet she remains unaffected like it's a cool breeze. So that implies that she was already significantly strong. Also, the fact that she's also a seat above Ikkaku, who's also no pushover in the Bleach universe. So, with all that being said, we understand how rough the power scale of Yachiru, but we don't truly understand because we don't know yet if she has a Bankai or not, and we don't even know if this is the complete abilities of her Shikai, because what we're getting right now is just a glimpse and just a taste. What her powers remind me of, they remind me of Castro from the Hunter x Hunter universe when he fought Hisoka in the Heaven's Arena arc. For anyone who watches Hunter x Hunter would understand what I'm talking about, but that's what it reminds me of. Kind of like the whole double ganger ability, whereas in her case it's more like a triple ganger for the simple fact that she has one thing in the back, one thing in the front, and herself in the middle controlling the sword. And this in fact ends up being a perfect counter for Guenael's ability, well, Guenael's initial ability, because we have no idea what he can do in his holy form. With that being said, I actually thought it's pretty cool because what we understand is what Guenael's powers are is that he has the ability to erase himself from your memories, also has the ability to erase his physical existence and also his essence, like his sound and stuff, but he can only do one of those at a time. So like for example, he will do stage 1 where he'd erase his physical self, stage 2 where he'd erase his voice and stuff, and stage 3 where he'd erase himself from your memory completely. And that's why, and what he does, his own battle strategy is like he would completely reintroduce himself to make it seem like you've never met them before. And by switching in between those 3 powers of his, in between state 1 and state 2, which is stated in the manga, he is able to make the damage basically that is inflicted on him be inflicted on his opponent. So it seems like basically there's some sort of time delay, so it seems like you have to almost delay your attack when you're attacking him. So having like a double ganger or somebody swinging at him after he erases himself from your existence, like his physical self from your existence, makes sense. So if somebody else takes a swing at him, they'll actually be able to inflict damage on him, and that makes perfect sense. Alright. And that also ties in with what her powers are, for the fact that it's essentially 3 entities including herself. So if she in turn misses because he steps back and avoids the attack, one of the other 2 entities will eventually apologise for the jump cut, but let's get back into the review. What this battle, I can predict what this battle is going to go like straight away. What Kubo's done again, he's done another one of his what I like to call his perfect matchups, and we've seen this in other instances and other battles throughout the Bleach universe. A typical example of this was, for example, when Byakuya fought Espada number 7. How Byakuya has the 1,000 petals and he has the 50 eyes, etc. It's the perfect counter for Espada number 7's ability. But I'm digressing here. That was just giving you an analogy of how I can see this battle playing out. Simply because of what Guenael's abilities are, it makes the only persons whose abilities who we've seen to date who can counter an ability like that is Yachiru, and it just makes sense. This is another one of Kubo's perfect matchups. So other than what I've already explained, not much more happened in this week's chapter, so in turn my review should be short. But let's dive into what I personally think will happen in the next oncoming chapters, because I do believe that this battle, I should say, is going to continue for at least another 4, maybe 5 chapters, because the way I see things planning out, and I could be completely wrong here, is that she releases her Shikai, Yachiru releases her Shikai, she ends up backing Star Knight V into a corner, who ends up releasing his final holy form, who ends up backing her into a corner. She has to release a Bankai if she has one, and if she doesn't have one, then Zaraki Kenpachi is going to show up, and then all hell is going to break loose, and he's going to be the one to end up finishing her. That would just be typically what I expect to happen from previous battles, and me understanding the series in general. So that's personally what I think is going to go on. Hopefully that isn't the case and she does end up finishing this Star Knight herself, because it would be nice to actually see, you know, the full extent of her powers without her having to be saved, without having to have another damsel in distress in the Bleach universe, other than with the exception of you know, Tia Haribel and Yoruichi, and obviously Unohana. So it would be nice to see someone not be a damsel in distress, especially when it comes to one of the female characters in the Bleach universe. So with all that being said, I did enjoy this week's chapter of Bleach, although it did seem somewhat short, simply because not really much happened. Yes, we got a slight explanation of Yachiru's powers. We also got a slight explanation of Star Knight V's powers and how they work. And basically, this chapter just reminded me of a setup chapter for, quite simply, for the next battle. Because now I just quite evidently see it's going to be, you know, she's going to back him to a corner, like I said before. He's going to release his final holy form, which a lot of people are thinking is very similar to a Bankai. It's not like a Bankai. All the final holy form is just basically a powered up version of whatever their current powers are. But with all that being said, I believe that I've rambled on enough. Anyways, guys, if there's anything that I've missed that you'd like me to discuss, hit me up in the comment section below and let me know what you think. It's your boy Shimigami X, aka Captain X. I'm signing out, and as always, my people, take care. Peace.